The narcissist in your life probably feels like a villain, and I'm guessing that's why you clicked on this video. You have a desperate want to understand not only why you've attracted this narcissist in your life, but also why it's so hard for you to pull away from them. You're likely feeling confused, disempowered, maybe even isolated, and you're essentially wanting to understand what you've done to deserve this type of unjust behavior. In this video, I'm going to reveal how a narcissist showing up in your life is actually the wake-up call that you're ready for. I'm flipping the whole narcissism script on its head in true Emma Zia style, not only to reveal the hidden truth behind narcissistic behavior that you've probably never heard of before, but also to reveal to you how a narcissist showing up in your life is a God-given gift that reveals to you your true power. If a narcissist shows up in your life, it's a sign that you're ready to overcome decades of self-abandonment. What if I said to you that a narcissist is there to mirror back to you all of the parts of yourself that feel powerless, worthless, and incapable, so you can finally reconnect with your truest, most powerful self? Every time a narcissist steps onto your stage, something stirs inside of you. There is this remembering, a remembering of who you are at your core. But this remembering only happens if you choose to see it that way. If you allow yourself to be succumbed by the narcissist control tactics and suppressive behavior, then the journey will be incredibly painful and difficult, and you'll find yourself in a spiral of second guessing yourself and feeling distorted in your own reality. But what I'm going to share with you in this video today is designed to help you flip the dynamic. I want you to outsmart the narcissist and actually alchemize the experience into the greatest catalyst for your own evolution. So lean in, listen carefully, and get ready to hear some long-awaited truths. Let's start with what actually is narcissism. Narcissism has an incredibly bad reputation, with themes like arrogance, control, psychological abuse, and self-entitlement associated with it. And all of this is extremely accurate. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can be a very painful and uncomfortable journey. However, I will assert that narcissism itself is quite misunderstood. And the reason I say this is because I myself have had multiple narcissistic relationships, as well as dedicating the last 8 years of my professional career to deeply understanding human behavior. And I've come to realize that narcissism is not just an individual style of relating to others, it's actually a symptom of a much deeper collective issue. I define narcissism as an extreme form of self-centeredness, which is a relationship coping mechanism as the result of a severe disconnection to self. It can be developed from trauma in adolescence, a severe emotional neglect in childhood, and early onset self-abandonment. I also think narcissism exists on a spectrum. Mild forms of narcissism can be integrated through inner work and healing, whereas some more severe forms might be harder to integrate, if ever at all. It's also worth noting that as narcissism is a manifestation of a deeper societal issue of self-neglect, self-abandonment, and disconnection, it actually serves a purpose for the awakening of humanity. As much as you can demonize narcissistic behavior, technically speaking, as a human race that is a collective consciousness, we are the consciousness that is manifesting narcissism in the world. If it can exist in one person, it can exist in all of us. So rather than pointing fingers, blaming, and complaining about narcissism, I think the real change happens when we actually begin to see narcissism for what it really is and for what it's teaching us in our individual lives. A narcissist fundamentally lacks a sense of self because they didn't have someone mirror their sense of self back to them in adolescence. So beneath all of the controlling and manipulative behavior is actually an inner child who never received a tuned reflection. They never saw themselves reflected in loving eyes as an accurate version of themselves. So this inner child is starving for attention and affection. It wants to be seen, valued, and loved, and because of this, it creates this pendulum swing of attention-seeking and hierarchy-craving behavior. This is why a narcissist seeks to take away your sense of self. It's because they are so disconnected from their own sense of self that they are desperately outsourcing it through others. This is also why a narcissist can never truly be vulnerable or intimate in relationships. At the first glimpse of vulnerability, they will take a stand of control instead, because feeling vulnerable for a narcissist makes them feel out of control. And they seek control because on a deep unconscious level, they don't feel safe in their own body or identity. And it's this lack of safety that is the foundational pattern of their disconnection to self. If you're someone who is typically full of energy and vibrancy, then you're a direct target for a narcissist. They will seek you out because when someone has a zest for themselves and for life, this is what the narcissist craves because they feel like they're missing it deep down. Narcissists are known to prey on men and women who are attractive, successful, and capable. And this is because unconsciously they see that you have what they perceive they lack inside, although they would never admit that or actually show that to the outside world. And I found this to be the reason that many physically and personally attractive people get lured in by narcissists. When you start to see the truth of narcissism, that it's actually a deeply disconnected soul craving attention and safety, then you can begin to release your defenses and actually start to find compassion for this incredibly fragile and lost person, but it also gives you an opportunity to see why you are a match for them. So why have you attracted a narcissistic relationship? Well, whether it's romantic, platonic, or a family relationship, I want to make this very clear. This relationship is the mirror that is reflecting your true self-worth back to you. It's an invitation to rediscover your own sense of self that you've also lost along the way. It's an opportunity to reclaim the connection to your most pure expression of self before it was tainted, bruised, or distorted by the outside world. Many people who find themselves in relationship with a narcissist question why they deserve to be treated so badly. And trust me, I get it. It's an incredibly uncomfortable relationship dynamic to be in. But it's not so much that you deserve that behavior. It's more so that on a deep unconscious level, you resonate with it. On some level, you might also have a fractured sense of self. You might be craving love and attention that felt lost in childhood from someone who should have loved you. You might hold yourself as a confident person, but deep down, you might question if you're actually lovable. There is a sacred invitation hidden here to claim the worth that you've lost, to stop outsourcing your search for personal power through others or achievements, and to actually be present with all of the parts of you that are ready for self-love. I like to define self-love in essence as self-acceptance. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing extraordinary, it's just acceptance. And self-acceptance sounds simple, but it's actually one of the hardest acts for any human to surrender into. It's much easier to conceal your lack of self-acceptance through substance abuse or certain behaviors or achievements or maybe even fashion and makeup than it is to actually bring compassion to all of those parts of you that you've been told are wrong or ugly or bad. So can you see how you might be a potential match for a narcissistic relationship now? That narcissist who is desperately seeking attention and love from others is also reflecting to you the lack of love that you have for yourself. So every time you feel this narcissist try and take a part of you, it's actually revealing where you're giving it away. And every time this narcissist tries to take control over you, it's revealing the cracks in your own sense of self. This is why that narcissist is the wake-up call that you've been waiting for. It's the opportunity to not only see where you've been neglecting your own wants and needs, but it's also the invitation to set new boundaries for yourself and to teach people how to treat you through the reclamation of your own self-worth. So let's talk about flipping the dynamic with a narcissist. Now, here's the part that no one tells you. You can flip the dynamic with a narcissist, which in turn dissolves the part within you that is a match for them. But it's not by out-arguing them, exposing them, or trying to make them see what they're doing. That's actually just a trap. It's just the bait. And the narcissist wants a reaction from you because your emotional reaction is the real currency. You reacting gives them proof that they still have access to your power and your peace. So instead of trying to fight fire with fire, here's how you flip the whole game, silently, powerfully, and permanently. Number one is stop explaining yourself. One of the most addictive traps is explaining yourself to a narcissist. You want to be understood. You want them to get it. You want to clear the air and fix the rupture, but that's not the best play with a narcissist. A narcissist doesn't listen to understand, they listen to weaponize. The more you explain, the more material they have to twist and distort later on. So instead of trying to make them see your heart, switch to this understanding instead. My clarity doesn't require the agreement. You don't need permission to feel how you feel. You don't need validation to know what's real. And in order to break ties with a narcissist, you need to stop giving them access to your energy by explaining yourself or seeking validation for how they're making you feel. Instead, accept that they will never understand how you feel, or they will never show it publicly anyway. So choose to find peace within the open loops. Let them keep trying to get a reaction without you actually giving it to them. Number two, be as neutral as possible. When a narcissist can't get emotion from you, whether that's good or bad, they lose traction, they lose interest. So start removing emotion from your interactions. Be factual, be brief, be neutral. You don't need to be cold, but just be neutral. Respond to them with brief messages or answers. This actually limits the opportunity for drama. When you take away drama from a narcissist, they will eventually stop trying to aggravate you and leave you alone. And yes, it will drive them absolutely mad, and that's how you know it's actually working. Number three, set standards over boundaries. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop setting boundaries with the narcissist and start setting standards. Reactive boundaries are actually negotiable. If you're reacting to a narcissist by telling them rules on how they need to treat you better, they will likely see that as an opportunity to aggravate you even more by crossing those boundaries and breaking those rules. Instead, set standards. Rules are for them, standards are for you. Get super clear internally on the standards that you hold for yourself and how you want to behave in situations and environments, and then become the embodiment of that through practicing these standards and enforcing them and following through on them. Even if you don't feel ready to set these standards, or even if you don't feel fully confident in them yet, that's okay. You will become confident in time when you enforce the standards when you hold the standards no matter what, and then when you collect evidence on how people and life treats you differently because of it. And number 4, see the narcissist as a teacher. This is probably the last perspective you want to take on, but trust me, shifting your perspective to seeing the narcissist in your life as a teacher will completely transform how you respond to their behavior. Circling back to what I said at the beginning of this video, a narcissist is showing up in your life as a God-given gift that reveals to you your true power. That person is a mirror for you. They're showing you all the parts of yourself that you've disowned or rejected, and it's time to take your power back. So narcissism is an extreme form of self-centerism born off of extreme self-abandonment. So understand that every shadow that you fight out there is actually a disowned fragment in here. See that narcissist that way and watch the alchemy take place. See them as your teacher. See that villain as one of the greatest teachers for you to step into your true potential and your true growth and evolution. This is actually how you transform that pain into power. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.